First contact. Maya Chen wiped sweat from her brow as she consulted her malfunctioning navigation device. The dense canopy of bioluminescent foliage overhead cast an ethereal blue glow across the forest floor, beautiful but disorienting. 3 hours since she'd lost contact with her research team, and the jungle of planet Lumina seemed to grow more maze-like by the minute. "Base camp, this is Dr. Chen. Does anyone copy?" Static answered her call. The atmospheric interference had only grown worse since the storm. Maya sighed, tucking a strand of black hair behind her ear. As the expedition's lead xenobiologist, she'd been eager to document Lumina's unique ecosystem. Now, she just wanted to find her way back to the research station. A rustling sound froze her mid-step. Something was moving through the undergrowth ahead. Maya's pulse quickened as she recalled the briefing on Lumina's predatory fauna. She crouched behind a large, spiral-shaped tree trunk, reaching for her sample collector, the closest thing to a weapon she carried. The foliage parted, and Maya's breath caught in her throat. The figure that emerged was tall and slender, with distinctly humanoid features, yet unmistakably alien. Its skin had a subtle opalescent quality that reflected the ambient light. Large, expressive eyes surveyed the clearing with intelligence. This was no animal. This was one of the elusive Luminians, the planet's native sentient species that her team had been hoping to peacefully contact. Maya knew she should remain hidden, but her scientific curiosity betrayed her. She shifted position, snapping a twig beneath her boot. The Luminian's head turned sharply toward her hiding place. "I know you are there," a voice called out in surprisingly good English. "Your kind is not skilled at moving quietly through our forests." Maya stood slowly, hands raised in the universal gesture of peace. "I mean no harm. I'm separated from my research team." The Luminian studied her with tilted head. "Research? You study our world?" "Yes, I'm Dr. Maya Chen, a xenobiologist." "I am Tarek, healer of the southern settlement." Maya noticed Tarek carried a satchel filled with what appeared to be plant specimens, a fellow scientist perhaps. "Your English is excellent. We have observed your kind since you arrived. Some of us thought it wise to learn your language." Tarek's expression remained neutral, impossible to read. "You should not be in these woods alone. Night brings dangers." As if summoned by his words, a low growl emanated from the darkness beyond the clearing. Tarek tensed, fingers moving to a carved wooden instrument at his belt. "That is a shadow stalker. They hunt at dusk," he said quietly. "Follow me if you wish to survive until morning." Maya hesitated only briefly before nodding. "Lead the way." Tarek moved with silent grace through the jungle, occasionally glancing back to ensure Maya kept pace. The path grew steeper, winding through rock formations that glowed with veins of bioluminescent minerals. "Your settlement is nearby?" Maya asked, careful to keep her voice low. "Yes, though bringing you there breaks our traditions." Tarek paused, turning to face her. "But leaving you to die would break something more important." They crested a ridge, and Maya gasped. Below lay a hidden valley where structures grown from living plants formed an intricate village. Soft lights glowed from within dwellings that seemed part of the forest itself. "Welcome to Velathora," Tarek said. "Few of your kind have seen this place." As they descended toward the settlement, curious faces emerged from doorways. Children with wide, luminous eyes pointed and whispered. Elders with intricate markings on their skin watched with cautious reserve. A tall Luminian approached, adorned with elaborate botanical decorations that Maya guessed signified leadership. "Tarek, you bring a stranger among us." The elder's tone was questioning, but not hostile. "She was Lust, Elder Nyara. The shadow stalkers were beginning their hunt." The elder studied Maya intently before nodding slowly. "Then she will be our guest until the sun rises.
Perhaps this unexpected meeting is the bridge our worlds have been waiting for." Maya bowed respectfully, overwhelmed by the significance of this moment. First contact, not through formal diplomatic channels, but through a simple act of compassion in a dangerous forest. "Thank you for your kindness," she said, meeting the elder's gaze. "I have much to learn about your world." As night fell, Maya sat beside Tarek near a central gathering place, watching as Luminians performed what appeared to be evening rituals. Despite her scientific training, she found herself moved by the beauty of their songs that seemed to harmonize with the natural sounds of the jungle. "Tomorrow," Tarek said, "I will help you find your people, but tonight you are part of Velathora." For the first time since getting lost, Maya felt a sense of wonder replace her fear. This accidental encounter might just change everything humanity thought they knew about Lumina and its people.
Bridge between worlds. The morning light filtered through the translucent canopy of Velathora, casting prismatic patterns across Maya's temporary dwelling. She had slept on a bed of soft, moss-like vegetation that seemed to conform to her body, far more comfortable than the standard-issue expedition cots. "You are awake." Tarek's voice came from the entryway. "I have brought morning sustenance." Maya sat up, accepting a bowl containing what looked like luminescent fruit. "Thank you. Is it safe for humans?" "I analyzed its composition against the biological data your kind has shared publicly. It contains no compounds harmful to your physiology." Maya took a cautious bite, surprised by the pleasant burst of flavor, somewhere between mango and mint. "You're a scientist as well as a healer?" "The distinction your people make between medicine and science is not one we share. All knowledge flows together like tributaries to a river." As they ate, Maya observed Tarek more carefully. The markings along his forearms seemed to pulse slightly with his heartbeat, and his large eyes reflected light differently than human eyes, creating an almost hypnotic depth. "Elder Nayara has approved my request to guide you back to your research station, but she has asked that in return you share what you've learned about our world's ecosystem." Maya nodded eagerly. "Of course, scientific exchange benefits us both." After finishing their meal, Tarek led Maya through the settlement. Children followed at a distance, curious but shy. One small Luminian child approached Maya, offering her a small, glowing stone. "A gift," Tarek explained. "Sira believes it will help you find your way if you become lost again." Maya accepted it with a bow. "Thank you, Sira." As they prepared to leave the village, Elder Nayara approached. "Maya Chen, what you have seen here has been hidden from your kind. We have watched your settlements grow and debated whether to make contact." "I understand your caution. History has shown that first contact between different cultures can be complicated." "Yes," the elder agreed. "Yet sometimes the universe chooses its own timing." She placed a hand on Maya's shoulder. "Return to your people, but remember what you have seen." Their journey through the jungle was faster with Tarek guiding. He moved with purpose, occasionally stopping to point out plants with medicinal properties or to warn of natural hazards. When they paused by a stream to rest, Maya activated her data tablet. "Would you mind if I recorded some of what you've told me about Luminian botany? It could save lives if we understand which plants help and which harm." Tarek considered this. Knowledge that heals should be shared. He began identifying various species, explaining their properties with a precision that impressed Maya. As they neared the research station's perimeter, Maya's comm device suddenly crackled to life with frantic messages. "Atmospheric disturbance, evacuation protocol. Dr. Chen, if you can hear this." Tarek tensed. Something is wrong. They rushed the final distance to find the research base in disarray, Equipment was being hastily packed, and the emergency beacon flashed ominously. Dr. Elias Kim, the expedition leader, spotted Maya and rushed over. "Chen, we thought you were dead." His eyes widened at the sight of Tarek. "And you've made a friend." "This is Tarek, a healer from a Luminian settlement," Maya explained quickly. "What's happening?" "Massive atmospheric storm forming," Kim replied, glancing nervously at Tarek. "The kind that rips trees from the ground. Satellites predict it will hit in less than 12 hours. We're evacuating to the orbital station." Maya turned to Tarek, whose expression had grown grave. "Your people. The storm will hit your village too." "Yes," Tarek replied. "We have shelters, but this season's storms have weakened them. Many may not survive." Maya made a decision that would change the course of human-Luminian relations forever. "Dr. Kim, we have to help them. We have reinforced shelter modules and atmospheric stabilizers." "Chen, our protocols for non-interference." "With respect, sir, those protocols didn't account for me spending the night as their guest while lost in a jungle. They helped me. We can help them." Kim looked between Maya and Tarek, weighing decades of cautious exploration policy against the immediacy of the situation. "How many people in your settlement?" he asked Tarek finally. 83, Tarek replied. After a moment's hesitation, Kim nodded. "We don't have time to get authorization from Earth. We'll send what we can spare." As researchers and Luminians worked together to prepare for the storm, Maya realized that sometimes the most significant scientific breakthroughs weren't found in a lab or field notes, but in moments of crisis that tested the boundaries between different worlds.
Weathering the storm. The sky over Lumina had transformed from its usual azure hue to an ominous purple-black. Maya, Tarek, and a small team of human scientists had returned to Velathora with emergency supplies and portable shelter modules. The expedition's atmospheric physicist, Dr. Ivan Santos, monitored readings from a portable weather station. "Wind velocities are already exceeding 120 kilometers per hour in the upper atmosphere," Santos reported grimly, "and rising." Elder Nayara had organized the Luminians with remarkable efficiency. Their traditional storm shelters, living structures of interwoven root systems reinforced with a resin-like substance, were being fortified with the humans' titanium supports and smart fabric tarps. "Your people move with purpose," Maya observed to Tarek as they secured a sensor array to monitor the storm's progression. "We have weathered storms before," he replied, his eyes reflecting the darkening sky, "though perhaps not like this one." The Luminian children had been gathered in the settlement's central structure, a vast cathedral-like growth of interlaced trees. Maya noticed a young Luminian girl watching her work, the same child who had given her the glowing stone. "Sira seems fascinated by you," Tarek noted. Maya smiled. "The feeling is mutual." As the first heavy raindrops began to fall, Santos approached with a concerned expression. "Maya, we have a problem. The storm's electrical activity is more intense than predicted. Our equipment won't withstand direct lightning strikes, and these trees are going to act like natural conductors." Maya turned to Tarek. "Is there any place in the settlement that's safe from lightning?" Tarek tilted his head thoughtfully. "The ancient caverns beneath the elder grove. Our ancestors used them during the great burning seasons." "Underground is good," Santos agreed, "but we'll lose communications and the cave system could flood." "Not these caverns," Tarek assured them. "They have natural drainage channels that have never failed. Our histories speak of them sheltering our people for generations." Elder Nayara joined their discussion, her normally serene features taut with concern. "The caverns have not been fully prepared. They required the blessing rituals to ensure safe passage." "With respect, Elder," Tarek replied, "I believe survival must come before tradition in this moment." A brilliant flash of lightning split the sky, followed almost immediately by a deafening thunderclap. One of the outer dwellings shuddered under the impact. "We're out of time for debate," Maya said firmly. "Elder Nayara, please lead your people to the caverns. We'll bring our equipment and supplies." The evacuation proceeded with surprising order, Luminians and humans working together, despite the language barrier and cultural differences. Maya found herself carrying a Luminian child whose parent was helping an elderly member of the community. The small being's weight was lighter than she expected, and its skin gave off a faint, soothing warmth. The cavern entrance was hidden behind a cascade of bioluminescent vines. Inside, the space opened into a vast chamber with a ceiling that arched 20 meters above them. Natural light emanated from crystal formations embedded in the walls, eliminating the need for artificial illumination. "This is incredible," Dr. Kim whispered as they entered. "The crystalline structures, they're unlike anything in our geological surveys." "The crystals sing during storms," Sira told Maya, her small voice solemn. "They protect us." As the last of their group entered the cavern, the storm's fury reached its peak above. The ground trembled with each thunderclap, but the cavern remained secure. Luminians began arranging themselves in family groups, setting up what appeared to be temporary living spaces with practiced efficiency. Maya watched as Tarek moved among his people, checking on the elderly and providing herbal preparations to those disturbed by the storm's violence. His dedication reminded her of the medical teams she'd seen working in disaster zones on Earth. "You care deeply for your people," she said, when he finally took a moment to rest beside her. "As you do for yours," he replied. "I saw how you made sure every human was safely inside before entering yourself." I shrugged. "Basic emergency protocols." "Perhaps our peoples are not so different in what matters most," Tarek suggested. As the night progressed, the humans shared their emergency rations, while the Luminians offered their stored provisions, strange but nutritious root vegetables and preserved fruits. Cultural barriers began to dissolve in the face of shared danger. Dr. Santos approached with her tablet. "Storm's intensity is peaking now. We should be through the worst of it by morning." Maya nodded, feeling a strange mix of anxiety and peace. The humans were huddled near their equipment, while most Luminians had begun a quiet, melodic humming that seemed to counterpoint the storm's chaos. "What are they doing?" she asked Tarek. "They are singing to the crystals," he explained. "It is said the resonance helps stabilize the cavern's energies during storms." He hesitated, then added, "Would you like to join them?" Maya looked around at her fellow scientists, caught between professional detachment and human curiosity. Dr. Kim gave her a slight nod. "For science," he said, with the hint of a smile. Maya followed Tarek to the circle of Luminians. Elder Nyara made space beside her, showing Maya how to place her hands on the cool crystal formation. The vibration was subtle at first, then unmistakable, a resonance that seemed to flow through her fingertips and into her chest. As she closed her eyes and attempted to match the Luminians' tones, Maya realized that this moment, scientists and healers, humans and aliens, united in the face of nature's power, was exactly why she had traveled across the stars to this distant world. Above them the storm raged on, but in the crystal cavern, a different kind of atmospheric change was taking place, one that would forever alter the relationship between two worlds.
New horizons. 1 week after the storm, the landscape of Lumina had transformed. The research station, while damaged, had been rebuilt with surprising efficiency, thanks in part to Luminan knowledge of which local materials could best withstand the planet's volatile weather. In return, the human team had helped the Velathora settlement repair their living structures using reinforcement techniques developed for exoplanet habitation. Maya stood at the edge of the newly constructed communication platform, watching as Dr. Kim made the first official transmission to Earth about their first contact with the Luminans, though she couldn't help but smile at how that terminology now seemed quaintly inadequate. "Central Command is stunned," Kim said, as he joined her at the railing. 7 years of careful observation, and you managed to establish diplomatic relations by getting lost in the woods. "Sometimes the universe has its own timeline," Maya replied, echoing Elder Yara's words. "They're sending a diplomatic team and about a dozen specialists to learn more about Luminan culture, medicine, everything. This changes the entire mission."
Maya's enthusiasm was tempered by concern. How are we ensuring the Luminans have a say in this expansion? They invited me into their home when I was in danger, but that doesn't mean they're ready for a full human presence? Kim nodded. That's actually why I wanted to talk to you. Command wants you to serve as the interim cultural liaison. You've earned Tarek's trust and, by extension, Elder Yara's. No one else has that advantage. Before Maya could respond, she noticed Tarek approaching from the jungle path that now connected the research station to Velathora, a physical manifestation of the bridge being built between their peoples. "Your communications are functioning again?" Tarek asked, his gaze taking in the repaired satellite array. "Yes," Maya confirmed. "We've made contact with Earth. They're, very interested in meeting your people officially." Tarek's expression remained neutral, but Maya had begun to recognize the subtle shift in the luminescence of his skin that indicated concern. "How many will come?" "Initially a small team, and they'll respect any boundaries your people establish." Tarek seemed to consider this. "Elder Yara has called a council meeting. She asks if you would attend, Maya Chen." "Of course," Maya replied immediately, trying to mask her surprise at the invitation. "Just you," Tarek clarified, glancing at Kim. "The elder believes you understand our ways better than the others." "Nah, I'll update command about the council. This is exactly why we need you as liaison, Chen." As Maya walked with Tarek through the recovering jungle, she noted how quickly the planet's ecosystem was rebounding from the storm. New growth already pushed through fallen vegetation, glowing with vibrant bioluminescence. "Your world heals quickly," she observed. "Lumina has endured many storms. Adaptation is necessary for survival." When they reached Velathora, Maya was struck by how the settlement had already regained much of its former beauty. The Luminans had a remarkable ability to coax damaged plants into new growth patterns that strengthened rather than weakened the overall structure. The council gathered in an open circle beneath the canopy of the Elder Grove. 9 Luminant elders, including Yara, sat on curved wooden seats that seemed to grow directly from the ground. A 10th seat, slightly different in design, had been placed in the circle. "For you," Tarek explained quietly. "It was grown overnight." Maya felt the weight of the honor as she took her place. Elder Yara opened the council with a series of melodic phrases that Maya's translator rendered as a blessing for wisdom and clear vision. "Maya Chen, you came to us as a lost wanderer and became a bridge between worlds. Now more of your kind wish to cross that bridge." "Yes, Elder. They wish to learn from your people and to share knowledge." Another elder, whose markings indicated great age, leaned forward. "When the skyships first came to Lumina, our seers predicted this day would arrive. Some welcomed it. Others feared it." "Which did you believe?" Maya asked respectfully. The ancient Luminan's eyes crinkled. "I believed the future is shaped by choices, not predictions. The question before us is what choices to make now." For the next several hours, the council discussed the implications of formal relations with humans. They expressed concerns about resource exploitation, cultural preservation, and the speed of technology change. Maya answered honestly, acknowledging humanity's troubled history with first contact scenarios while emphasizing the ethical protocols that now govern such interactions. As the twin suns of the luminous system began to set, Elder Yara raised her hand for silence. "We have reached a consensus. We will meet with your diplomatic team, but with conditions." She outlined boundaries for human presence, knowledge exchange protocols, and sacred areas that would remain off-limits. "I believe these terms are reasonable," Maya said when the elder had finished. "I will convey them to my superiors. There is one more condition. You, Maya Chen, will remain as the primary intermediary between our peoples. You have shown respect for our ways and wisdom in your judgments." Maya felt a complex mix of emotions: honor at the trust placed in her, anxiety about the responsibility, and something else she wasn't quite ready to examine when her gaze met Tarek's across the circle. "I accept," she said simply. When she returned to the research station that evening, the communication array was alive with activity. Dr. Kim was coordinating with multiple teams on Earth, his normally calm demeanor replaced with barely contained excitement. "Chen, perfect timing. Command wants your preliminary report on Luminan's social structures and—" He paused, noticing her expression. What happened? Maya handed him her tablet containing the Council's terms. "They're open to formal relations, but with clear boundaries." Kim skimmed the document, eyebrows rising. "These are actually more generous terms than we anticipated. And they've specifically requested you as permanent liaison?" "Apparently, getting lost has its advantages," Maya replied with a small smile. Later that night, unable to sleep, Maya stood outside her quarters watching the bioluminescent patterns of the jungle. The planet never truly grew dark. Light simply shifted from solar to biological sources in an eternal rhythm. "You are troubled," Maya's voice came from nearby. He often moved so quietly that even after weeks in his company, he still startled her. "Not troubled, just processing. Everything is moving very quickly." Tarek nodded. "Change has its own momentum once begun." "Are your people truly ready for this? Contact with humans will transform Luminan society no matter how carefully we proceed." "Perhaps," Tarek acknowledged, "but transformation is not destruction. Look there." He pointed to a plant growing along the station's fence line, a hybrid that had spontaneously formed between an Earth species and a native Luminan vine. Neither one nor the other, yet viable. Something new. Maya studied the plant, its leaves containing both chlorophyll and the bioluminescent compounds of luminous flora. A natural adaptation. "Life finds its way," Tarek said simply, "as will our peoples." As they stood together in the living light of the jungle, Maya realized that her scientific mission had evolved into something far more profound. A role in writing the first chapter of a relationship between two worlds that would span generations to come.
Harmony of Worlds. 3 months after the storm, the diplomatic mission from Earth had established a small but permanent presence on Lumina. The new settlement, built equidistant between the research station and Vela Thora, had been named Concordia in the human tongue and Charlevina, roughly translated as Meeting of Different Rivers in Luminian. Maya's role as cultural liaison had expanded beyond anything she could have imagined. Today, she was overseeing the first formal knowledge exchange, where 3 human medical researchers would learn about Luminian healing practices, while 2 Luminian elders would study human technology. "Remember," she briefed the human team, "observation comes before participation. The Luminians consider healing to be both science and sacred art." Dr. Lydia Okafor, the team's lead ethnobotanist, nodded earnestly. "We've reviewed your cultural briefs, Dr. Chen. We understand the privilege of this access." As Maya led them toward the teaching grove where Tarek waited with other healers, she reflected on how much had changed, not just in the diplomatic relationship, but in herself. The xenobiologist who had arrived to catalog alien flora had become a bridge between civilizations. Tarek greeted the group with the formal Luminian gesture of welcome, a soft luminescent pulse that rippled across his skin. "The healing circle welcomes those who come to learn with open minds." Dr. Okafor and her colleagues returned the greeting with the careful hand movements Maya had taught them. The small exchange represented weeks of cultural training and mutual adaptation. "Today we begin with the foundation of all healing, understanding the energy patterns that flow through all living beings." Maya stepped back, her role now shifting to observer rather than active participant. These interactions had become increasingly smooth as both species learned each other's communication styles.
Where once she had needed to translate not just words but concepts, the humans and Luminians were developing their own shared vocabulary. Later that afternoon, Maya made her way to the Technology Exchange Center, where Elder Nyara and a younger Luminian named Keller were examining solar energy collection systems with wide-eyed fascination. "Maya Chen," Elder Nyara greeted her. "Your people's ability to capture the sun's energy in these small crystals is remarkable. Silicon cells, though they're actually less efficient than some of your bioluminescent applications, we're hoping to learn from each other." Maya smiled at the genuine excitement in both the humans' and Luminians' expressions. This was exactly what she had hoped for: mutual appreciation rather than one-sided exploitation. Her comm device chimed with a message from the orbital station. The monthly supply ship had arrived early, bringing with it the specialized equipment requested by both communities and something else. "Dr. Chen, Central Command has approved your proposal for the Lumina Cultural Preservation Initiative. Full funding and personnel assignment details attached." Maya felt a surge of relief and triumph. The initiative would ensure that human presence on Lumina would be guided by preservation of Luminian culture and ecosystem rather than resource extraction or colonization. It had taken countless hours of documentation, persuasion, and coordination with both human authorities and Luminian elders, but the result would shape relations between their worlds for generations. She found Tarak at the river that divided the human and Luminian territories, a natural boundary that had now become a meeting place rather than a dividing line. Small boats from both communities regularly crossed its waters, carrying visitors, supplies, and, increasingly, friends. "The preservation initiative has been approved," she told him, without preamble. Tarek's expression shifted to one she had come to recognize as joy, a subtle brightening of his features and a distinctive pattern of luminescence. "Then our children's children will know Lumina as we have known it." "With some changes," Maya acknowledged, "but its essence protected." They walked along the riverbank in comfortable silence. Their working relationship had evolved over the months into a deep friendship built on mutual respect and shared purpose. Maya had come to value Tarek's wisdom and perspective in ways that transcended scientific collaboration. "The human children have begun learning our songs," Tarek observed, as they passed a group of young ones from both species playing together near the water. "And Luminian younglings attempt your mathematical equations." The sight of human and Luminian children interacting so naturally still filled Maya with wonder. The youngest of both species adapted to each other with remarkable ease, free from the preconceptions that sometimes still hinder adult interactions. As twilight approached, Maya reached the ceremonial grove where preparations were underway for the first joint celebration, a festival marking the changing of luminous seasons that the human community had been invited to observe and participate in. "Will you join the circle tonight?" Tarek asked. It wasn't the first time he had invited her to participate in Luminian cultural ceremonies, but this one held special significance. "I would be honored," Maya replied. The festival began as the twin suns set completely and Lumina's 3 moons rose in sequence, casting multi-hued light across the gathering. Luminians and humans stood together in the great circle, their differences highlighted yet somehow harmonized by the varied illumination. Elder Nyara stepped to the center, her ceremonial robes glittering with embedded crystals that caught and refracted the moonlight. Beside her stood Dr. Kim, representing the human delegation. "Under 3 moons and 2 suns, we acknowledge the cycles of change. As Lumina turns, so do our joined paths spiral forward." Dr. Kim responded with careful words in the Luminian tongue that Maya had helped him practice for days. "We come as guests to your world, grateful for your welcome, committed to walking in balance." The ceremony unfolded with songs and movements that told the story of Lumina's seasons. At key moments, humans were invited to add their own cultural elements. Earth music played on instruments that had never before been heard on this distant world, poetry that spoke of humanity's own relationship with seasonal change. As Maya joined a dance that symbolized renewal, moving between Luminian and human participants, she caught Tarek's eye across the circle. His expression held a depth of emotion that resonated with her own feelings, pride in what they had accomplished together, hope for what lay ahead, and something more personal that had grown between them through months of shared purpose. Later, as the celebration continued under the triple moonlight, Maya found a moment of quiet at the edge of the grove. The vista before her captured everything she had come to love about this world: the luminous beauty of its ecosystem, the wisdom of its people, and the promise of a future where different species could learn from each other without destruction or domination. Tarek joined her, offering a cup of ceremonial Luminian tea. "Your thoughts travel far," he observed. "I was thinking about the day I got lost in the jungle, how something that seemed like a disaster became a beginning instead." "The universe rarely moves in straight lines," Tarek said with characteristic insight. "The path between stars may seem direct when viewed from a distance, but contains infinite curves when traveled." Maya smiled at the metaphor. "My scientific training emphasized linear progress, hypothesis, experiment, conclusion, but nothing about our journey has followed that pattern." "Perhaps that is why it succeeds," Tarek suggested. "Real understanding grows like our living structures, adapting to the terrain, strengthening through challenges, finding new patterns when old ones fail." From the ceremonial circle came the sound of blended voices, human and Luminian, creating harmonies that neither could achieve alone. The melody carried across the settlement, a living symbol of what was being created here. Maya had come to Lumina seeking knowledge about alien biology. She would remain for reasons that transcended scientific inquiry, to help write the first chapters of a relationship between worlds that might one day serve as a model for all of humanity's encounters with other intelligent life. "We have much work ahead," she said, thinking of the challenges still to come as more humans arrived and deeper cultural exchanges began. "Yes," Tarek agreed, his hand finding hers in a gesture that bridged their physiological differences. "And much wonder to discover together."